Salutations everyone, this is Razor giving you guys an Overwatch update on the recent patch. Now it's only out on the PC right now. These changes will be included in a larger console patch at a later date that hasn't been specified, but it is coming to consoles as well. There's not going to be any differences between the PC and the console community when it comes to content or stats. So the two changes to the game were nerfs to McCree and Widowmaker. As previously mentioned in another video, the alternate fire, the fan hammer of the Peacekeeper of McCree's, was very, very strong. He could absolutely 1v1 all the tanks in the game and was just doing way too much damage. So here are the changes that they made to the fan hammer, or the alternate fire. The recovery time, i.e. the amount of time before McCree starts reloading, was decreased from 0.75 seconds to 0.3 seconds. So that means he's going to reload faster. But the bullet damage has been decreased from 70 to 45 on the fan hammer alternate fire, not on the regular attack, because he was performing way too well against all targets, making him just like a must pick. Like every single team had a McCree, and I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon because people are still used to him being so good. But now he's significantly weaker against tanks like Roadhog, Reinhardt, Winston, Zarya. But he still will maintain this lethality against the smaller, squishier targets, because if you hit, even though the damage has been decreased from 70 to 45, if you land all 6 of those shots, that will still kill every offensive unit and every defensive unit and every support unit. But you're no longer going to be able to annihilate tanks faster than any other character in the game. So definitely a good change. You can still fan hammer any other non-tank target, and that's just a good, nice competitive change to McCree. So just the change to the fan hammer. And Widowmaker has been given changes to her alternate fire as well, the scoped shot. The base damage has been decreased from 15 to 12, although the scoped shot damage multiplier remains unchanged. So your base damage was 15, now it's 12. The headshot damage multiplier has been increased from 2 times to 2.5 times. So this means you're going to be doing less damage to the body, but more damage overall to the head. So it's rewarding more headshots than it is to body shots. Players now must wait for the unscoping animation to completely finish before scoping. I don't feel like this makes a huge difference, but there it is. Also, there was a nerf to the Infrasight, her ult. The ult cost has been increased by 10%. The game makers felt like Infrasight was coming up a little too frequently, considering its big impact on the game and that everyone on your team has wall hacks at that point, so you could see everybody on the team. So now that ult is coming out 10% less likely. So now there's going to be a bigger focus on landing critical headshots and less on body shots. Widowmaker has had mostly complaints on the PC realm. They released some of the stats like win percentage and damage and stuff between PC and console, and Widowmaker was doing a lot more damage in the PC community than she was in the console community, so console players may not have seen her as a problem. I personally, there was only one game where I found a Widowmaker consistently destroying me, and she was getting headshots. So, that was basically just skill or me being bad. But I've never felt like she was made that big of an impact on the game, on offense or defense. She's bad on some maps. She's not a good choice in certain cases, especially if you're on attack that are in close quarters combat. But they felt that they needed to make this change to weaken her body shot damage, leaving her headshot damage basically unchanged, and giving us less ults of Widowmaker, just because it's so useful to the entirety of the team. As far as the promises to the other things that we have learned about, them looking into buffing D.Va and making that change to Reaper, those are still things that are being worked on right now, so those are things that we will get later on, but these are just two nerfs that they felt like needed to be addressed, and they found a way to address them. I don't know if they haven't found exactly what they want to do with D.Va to buff her, And when it comes to the buffs and nerfs in Overwatch, I feel like pretty much every character is very solid. They released the win percentages of characters, and I'll address that in a different video on, what that really shows in the meta. But every single character on Overwatch has been complained about for being too strong and has been complained about for being too weak. So I think that they've definitely hit a really golden sweet spot in Overwatch, where it seems like there are characters that are very, very strong in their niches, very, very weak outside of those niches, and everyone has their strengths and weaknesses and work differently in different amalgamations of a team in certain ways. So if you're complaining about a certain character being too strong or a certain character being too weak, just know that your opinions aren't super shared amongst the rest of the community. If you think a character's too strong, there's a group of people that think he's too weak. If you think a character's too weak, there's a group of players that think he's too strong. So everyone's having different experiences with different classes, and I think that just goes to show the balance that they have in this game. Now, Jeff Kaplan, the Overwatch game director, has noted that they have laid out plans for the next many months, noting that the team is working on content patches throughout the rest of the year and into 2017 currently. And he didn't offer much in the way of details, but iterated that competitive mode is the big focus right now. It's very far along. Blizzard is considering dropping it into a public test server soon, and that they anticipate competitive play to require a few seasons worth of iteration before they're in the place that they want to be. They also mentioned new maps and heroes are being worked on daily, not a surprise. The heroes are still in a prototype phase, so it's way too early to announce anything. While one map is officially in production, it shouldn't be too terribly far off. So we will be getting additional content throughout this year, and of course next year. It's a Blizzard game. They get this kind of support. It's really awesome to see, and one of the reasons why Overwatch was so hyped, because it's a Blizzard game, so we know it's going to get a lot of support post-launch, and especially content-wise. So we're going to be getting new maps, we're going to be getting new heroes, and they have nothing to officially announce right now. Everything is very early, but they're working on things. They're also trying to look into improving the spectating and highlight functionality, which will also help them improve the play of the game. However, these features are not being worked on heavily right now. They recognize that, it can be better, and there are different ways to go about that each have their own problems that would, prop up if you changed it in a certain way. So they are looking into that, but not heavily right now. They're really focusing on bringing competitive back and making all these other balance changes to the game that we're going to be seeing. And of course, doing all that they can in the anti-cheat, anti-hack effort going on, which is doing very, very well if you take a look at the numbers of people that have been banned. So those are the current updates out now for PC, as well as what we can look forward to coming up. There will be a patch with even more changes coming out on console at an unannounced date, but I think, relatively soon in the next month or so. So, yeah, McCree's a little bit weaker, Widowmaker's a little bit weaker, but the game lives on.